Welcome to the 5D Academy of Higher Consciousness by everyone. I'm broadcasting today is from my phone. We couldn't get the iPad cooperating. The laptop crashed, so I don't really have access to the gallery. I mean, I could, but it's hard because I got a ring of light in front of me that kind of blinds me a little bit. So I can't just look into the screen of the phone and go to the gallery. So I don't get to see you all, which normally I like to see everyone. But just want to welcome everyone. Thanks for your patience. As most of you know, I'm not feeling 100%. And this morning, I didn't even know how I was going to do it today because uh, it's just the engine wouldn't start. But somehow I finally was able to get out of the bed and move my body. And then somehow things came together. Okay, we're going to talk about this particular thing, and then this actually happens to be an area that I have a lot of experience with it because that's the story with my family, and most of the time, so I'm very aware with this scenario. But let me explain this for everyone, so making sure everybody understands what we're talking about. And I'm sure a lot of us do have encountered situations like this in the past, and still at now or in the future we may be encountering it. And so we come across somebody we love, we care about, they're suffering physically or emotionally, and somehow you know the answers, or somehow you know how to help them. And for us, or some of us who've been working on ourselves for a long time, it may seem like very simple. A few adjustments will help this person alleviate their sufferings, if it's emotional or psychological. But because of the type of relationship you have with them, uh, they're not open to you, to listen to you. And if you push it, you may lose your friendship with them. Or they may be feeling like you're mothering them. Or they may get the feeling, they may get annoyed, like you're being too spiritual for them. Or it's out of their content, the language. So that's one scenario of it. Another scenario of it is maybe this person is into the mainstream medicine. Maybe they got some kind of prostate cancer or some kind of cancer, and you're in an alternative world, and you want to be offering to them different kind of therapies, which instead of doing chemotherapy, because or they're doing things, forget about cancer, they're having a very bad diet, they're having a lot of health issues, and you can easily help them to feel better by making adjustments, but they're not open to it. So what do we do? And this is my experience, which has been tough, because been observing it with my own family. They're in the mainstream world. They believe in mainstream doctors. You have to make an appointment, go see a physician. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with physicians or doctors. mainstream doctors or anything. This is not to just put anybody down or anything. But you just, from our point of view, that have been explored into the alternative medicine and discovered natural ways of healing the body or better ways of healing the body. And then when you're watching people who just completely shut down to this other ways, for them is like you go see you make an appointment, go see a doctor in their office or in an emergency room or a hospital, and they're gonna give you some prescription medications or some tests. And that's the only way to do it. There's no other way. And a lot of times you can see it's not working and they're suffering. You want to help them, but they're not open to you. And my experience has been that is to, just 1 second, this is my neighbor's dogs. They make noise. Can you hear that?
No, we can't.
Huh?
No, we can't hear it.
You don't? Okay. So for me, it's very painful. It was very painful for a long time because I could just see different members of my family were suffering from different type of health issues, and I knew I could help him to fix the problem and get over their issues, but they were just not open in listening to me at all. But then in the meantime, you're traveling and going from here to Europe, and people come from other countries to come and see you, and they're spending money, they're putting their time, they're making an appointment, they're traveling from another place, and to come and get my advice or my diagnosis or my suggestions or healings or whatever. Of course, I don't give any medical advice because I'm not a licensed physician, but alternative advices like, okay, changing diet or fasting or cleansing or cleaning up the body or whatever. And yet, you have this wealth of information that a lot of people from around the world are interested in hearing it or to be a part of it. Yet the people who you're closest to, they have no interest in that. Or even if it comes to the world of meditation or anything like that. So yeah, it was very painful in the beginning, or for a number of the years for me to go through it, and seeing how some members of my family were suffering health-wise, and I could help him, but they were not open to it. So what happened is basically eventually for me is I realized that this is their karma. This is what they're supposed to be going through in this life. There's nothing I can do. I can make suggestions. I can make some references. But basically, at the end of the day, they're going to be doing whatever they're supposed to be doing. And even though if they're going like mainstream medical treatment way, which is poisoning them with more medications, or the diagnosis is wrong and they're getting worse, and you see that, and but there's nothing you can do. So coming to this understanding and terms with myself is that all I can do is hold a space for them and just love them. And that's all I can do. Um, and another thing I've learned is it's been years and years and years in ordinary conversations with, I mean, I have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people. But in the meantime, that I have a lot of friends and I know a lot of people, I'm also extremely alone. So, in a way that it's who are you going to talk to about these peaks of consciousness? Who are you going to talk to about non duality? Who are you going to talk to about these spaces that you had discovered in your own psyche, which it's literally impossible to convey or explain? So, one thing you get to distinguish and you realize that your consciousness is expanding and you're reaching out, you're understanding your point of view, and you can see things from a lot of different angles, which a lot of people can't see. But this is only for you. You cannot share this with anyone because they don't get it. They're not there. So you're just gonna have to eat it and and not talk about it. Basically, just recognizing it. Um, are we there? I don't know. Can you hear me? Because I don't see anyone and I don't hear anything.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yes. It's
But that, when you're talking about that, your experience and so on, it will must cost you a lot of energy then to try to protect yourself when your family don't understand, or maybe that you feel that they're taking your energy and that you can't talk to people about everything you feel and see.
I mean, I don't. I mean, not necessarily. They taking my energy. They're in their own world, but same as there's only maybe one or I don't know, maybe there's one or two people that I had a very good conversation with this gentleman yesterday, um, who was getting it. Whatever I was saying, he was getting it. It was like, wow, I haven't had a talk like this with anybody for a long time. And it was like so fluid. And it was like I could, all of a sudden, my mouth opened up and I'm talking. And I'm talking about stories, telling him things I haven't told anybody uh, because he was getting it. And it was interesting. We were just talking, and he was saying, Zarathustra, I'm one of the most alone person, not lonely. I'm one of the most alone people on the planet. Uh, Aloneness is different than loneliness. They're two completely different stories. So that's that. But back into the topic. The topic we're talking about is that one thing I learned in my spiritual career is number one is I don't preach. I don't preach to people. Uh, I have a lot of friends who are in the mainstream world, and I try to talk to them in the level they talk. And yeah, sometimes I may get bored. There's some areas we have in common and we talk and laugh, or we play, or whatever it is, whether you're playing a game or exercising together. But unless somebody comes and asks me spiritual questions, I don't say anything. I never say anything. I may just hint something or refer to something, just throw a little something to see if it's going to go anywhere. But basically, it. I keep my mouth shut. Don't say a single word. And mainly is that I've learned, don't give unsolicited advice. Don't give any unsolicited spiritual opinions to people who are not interested. Or sometimes they're fishing to suck you into. This happens a lot. Like, people may make it look like they're asking for my opinion about something, but they really want to tell me their story as far as, oh, the whole world is in chaos and things are getting really bad now that Trump has won, or what's going to happen in the future of humanity, or are we going to go to war, or are we going to be assimilated into AI, but they don't want to really hear what I have to say. They may make it sound like it's a question, but they want to tell me their story, which has been building up in their head. And also, I very quickly realized that this conversation is not going to go anywhere. And I sort of get out of it. Or I just say, I don't know. I don't understand. This is too much for me. You know more than I do. So, because I can recognize, like, the person's not interested in hearing what I have to say, or if they are, they want to be hearing, they want me to be supporting their opinion of misery. Because most people, when they drag you into these conversations, they're operating from duality and from the dual world, the opposites. Well, that world ended for me in 2011. So I don't see the world in that way anymore. My experiences are not in duality. So what am I going to do? I can't support illusions, especially in the spiritual communities. In a spiritual community, let's say you have, for instance, I'm going to use an example, which is very common right now, is happening. And this is not like a knockdown on them. The stuff, like the things, the themes of the stuff, which is very popular right now. Okay, it's happening, especially in the cultures like in the US, Canada, or places like in Sedona, Arizona, or here in Tulum. In this type of spiritual communities that I've been living or I'm connected to, stuff like, okay, let's have the cacao ceremony. Everybody sits down here and have an intention what is our intentions for the coming year, or intentional settings. Then there's the breath work, and then maybe there's some of the stuff that they've learned with the breath work from Wim Hof, the ice bath stuff, and there's like a number of different things that pretty much everybody's doing it and everybody's teaching it. And learning techniques or methods that with these methods, by positive affirmations, if I am thinking positively, if I'm speaking positively, I don't say, oh, I have a bad flu or cold and I'm really sick. No. Don't say that, because it's gonna last long. You're gonna keep manifesting it. You know, that kind of conversation, that kind of stuff, things, which I don't feel any connection to it. So, okay, I come across people who are into neo-spirituality, which is there is a firm belief that there is an individual, I'm a single person, I am in separation from everything, and I have my own free will, and I have my power to manifest things. Well, I come across this kind of people, I can't get into a conversation about this, because now, first of all, that's not my reality. Because in my reality, that's not true. Because that's not what I'm experiencing anymore. It was my reality 15 years ago, but it diminished. Okay, so what are you gonna do? I don't want to get into an argument to convince them. And even if I convince them, what do I gain out of it? There's nothing in it for me to convince someone or forcing him or try to win the conversation. There's nothing in it because I don't care. It doesn't matter. So what do? You kind of avoid it and you kind of go around it. And if you're smart, you don't get caught into it because it's not going to go anywhere. So back into the original conversation is all we can do is, because what it is illusion requires a group of people supporting it. Are you guys there? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we
we can
are.
hear.
Sorry, it takes a
So, I'm going to give you a little example, and this is very interesting. Excuse me. Illusion can only exist through the support of a community. So, and I'm going to give you an example. I'm trying to figure out the right example for you. Okay, like the subject. The topic earlier today we talked. He said, yes, we're going through these hard times are tough. A lot of people are going through this very strong, powerful transformation. Right? Is this what we talked about earlier today? It came up like it's a very strong time. A lot of people are sick, or a lot of people going through stuff. Do you guys remember this?
Yes.
you've been talking
You
about,
remember,
but
you remember we barely this topic came up. You remember that?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So So this requires a group of people sit together and agree on it. So let's say anyone who said it, Susanna, I don't know if you said it or Hilda said it or anybody who brought this up, and let's say, and I tell you, yeah, it is really a tough time, and a lot of people going through it, and it's a very strong time in the world. And then Andreas will say, "Oh yes, da 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 da," and then maybe Elijah says, "Oh yes, da 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 da. It's true." Okay, so now 4 or 5 people are saying the same thing and supporting it. The illusion requires a group of people supporting it, because in reality it doesn't exist. It's not real. I'm going to give you a little example so things become more clear, and hopefully it will give you a chance not fall into this trap that your mind creates all the time. Because look, sometimes when I'm teaching at the highest point of teaching, when I'm teaching non-duality, teaching about raising your vibrations to 5th dimensional consciousness and coming to this other level, and at the peaks of the teachings, whether it's the academy or it's a workshop, seminar, and everybody's there, and everybody is getting it right on the spot. But then a lot of times, the moment I go, I'm gone, there's a break, I go, all of a sudden, half of the conversations of the group goes back into the traumas and the way they feel and what happened to their childhood. And yes, this is really a hard time. And oh, I'm going through this. And the other person is saying, but what happened? We were right over here. We went to this place, which is pure silence, no story. There's no me. The me doesn't exist. There is no Zarathustra as an individual entity who has a story, has go through traumas. And somehow I can see a lot of people come to that place and they're really touching it. And then the moment I walk away, ooh, everybody falls back into becoming a person with their story, and now they're getting together talking about their stories and processing the story, which is not real. It's an illusory story, but it requires a few people supporting it. So the group feels good because we have something in common. We can talk about our misery, or we can talk about how rough of a time it is right now in the world. Well, how rough of a time is it in the world right now? Is the world going through a rough time right now? Is there anybody there?
Not really.
Not at all.
Not really.
Yeah.
Out of mind.
Yeah, and if it's going through a hard time, the world is going through a rough time in comparison to what?
Yes.
You know, what are you comparing it to? Because what is the rough time that the world is going through? It's going through a rough time to what? 15th century? Is the world going through a very rough time during 1973-4, during the Vietnam War or the oil crisis? Or is the world going through a rough time during Second World War, which Europe was in flames and is in ruins. A lot of places in the world, but mostly the South Pacific and Europe. So the world is going through a rough time. In comparison to what? So always at a given point, for us working on ourselves, doing spiritual work, yeah, you're gonna hit blocks. You're gonna go through periods of time that you're struggling. There's gonna be periods of time that realization's happening. There's gonna be time that you may go through this complete confusion of what the hell am I doing? Why am I, is this path I'm going on right? Maybe I should follow another teachings. This doesn't resonate. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. Or maybe a person is going through all these emotional stuff and they're processing their emotional stuff. And then they get together with their girlfriend or guy friend or a couple other girlfriends or guy friends who are all going through emotional stuff. Not everyone is supporting this illusion. Suddenly, the conclusion is that, oh wow, a lot of people around the world emotionally going through a lot of strong stuff. You got to be careful not to fall into in that trap. Because the world is exactly, there's nothing wrong with the world. This is exactly how God wants it to be. This is exactly how God constructed it. And is playing in it, watching itself and playing with itself, because there is nobody else in here. There's only one. And that one is wearing all these different masks, is just fooling around with itself for whatever reason. Any question, comments? How are we doing here today? Where are we at?
So is it like it is all the time? The only right thing is stay in love. And maybe if you can do this, send this person love energy, heal energy, and keep him in the heart. And protect him with these things you feel for him.
Sorry, say the first part of it again one more time. I didn't.
Yes. So it's the same like all the time when we have questions, and the only right answer is stay in love, be with this person, however she is, if she's friendly or if she's an asshole, love this person. And if you can send healing energy and protect this person with your heart's energy, not more. That's all, and that's enough.
Yeah,
Don't
it looks like it.
Give this person up. Don't give this person up.
I mean, what else can you do?
I think always remember that there is no duality.
Yes.
That it's all you. That it's all the same. That's what you said and what you mean and what you give as an answer to manage this different don't know how to say, this mass inside of us.
Well, yeah, I mean, when there's another thing, if a person, you're dealing with a friend who's in the non-dual world, I mean, you can't just all of a sudden come and say there's nobody here.
Yeah.
And they don't get it because they're very identified with their character and with their story. Like, what am I gonna do with my family? Go tell them like, hey mom, there is no you, and there is no me, and there's no, our brother doesn't exist. It's only an image. I mean, doesn't make any sense. I'm just gonna have to play the role of the son and go through the motions and whatever that is. You know, she may be saying stories, oh, things are really bad. Things are really getting really bad in Iran, and the money value has gone down. People are getting really poor, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry to hear this, mom. Yes, you know, you know, to a certain point. I'm just gonna listen to her.
I find it difficult to get it. It's a bit difficult for me to get it. On the one hand, we are all the same source, and on the other hand, there is always this differentiation, this individuality, and
Can you speak a little bit louder, please?
oh, sorry, yes. The point is, on the one hand, we are all from the same source, we are all one. And on the other hand, we are all individual people. And sometimes I have a problem to get it together.
Which part of it you have a hard time to get together?
To deal with it, to deal with the individual people. And to not to not to lose the connection to them.
Right. Let me show you something. This may help all of you. Just 1 second. So this is like a little mini disco ball, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see if it's gonna be. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna put this disco ball in here, and I turn it on. And you see this?
Yeah, we see that.
Do you see these dots running around?
Yes.
Yeah? Everybody sees that?
Yes, we do.
Yeah? You see
Yeah.
the dots?
Yes.
How about now? You see these ones on my face?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is Hilde. That's Suzanne. That's Andreas. That's Zarathustra. That's Elijah. And every one of them looks like are doing their own thing. And okay, so let's talk to this one of these. Okay, and they all think they have their own free will. And they're doing their own thing. Okay, now I'm gonna turn this off.
Mm.
And none of them exist. What happened to the dots? These were like individuals with their own stories and lives. Okay, I turn this on. The show goes on again. So look at each dot as if it's a person with their story, their life story, their family, education, free will, do whatever they want to do. But look, they're all reflection from the source. The moment you turn this off, there is no dots.
It's
All those stories end. And then you turn it on, then this whole thing is happening. All these people.
It's a wonderful picture. Thank you.
That is a good one.
It's really wonderful. So absolutely.
All right. And then if I keep it straight and not move it, it looks like a pattern. Like, okay, Wendy got up, is going to work, got married, died, came back. Now her daughter is doing the same story, you know.
It all comes and goes.
It's a theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is exactly what is happening right now.
Yep.
There is no Zarathustra. It is one of those dots because the disco ball is on right now, and it's from its source projecting these dots. But the dots, they think, they don't know they're projections of the disco ball. They think they're individual people running on their own and deciding what to do, and they have an impact. They don't know they're just images. That's all they are. And the disco ball doesn't want them to know their images. Doesn't tell them, like, dude, you don't exist. I'm the only one who's running the show. So you have a sense of separation. You have a sense that you are a person, powerful, making your own decisions. You made mistakes. You accomplished things in your life. You can have an impact, but you have no idea that you're just an imagination. You're only an image. That's all you are. Until you wake up to it. Once you come to awakening, then you realize, oh wow, this whole thing is a joke. And it's been a joke. None of those doubts could change their own direction or make a decision or have their own free wills. They have this sense that they do. And they look like they're in movements, they're in transit, they're doing this, they're doing that. But their power source is the center of that disco ball. And without that power source, none of them exist.
So I'm only energy.
Yes,
I-
only.
I have a question. What do you do when you know that?
Who is this?
I'm Beatrice. I'm here.
Hi, Beatrice.
Hi.
What is your question?
What do you do with that when you realize that it's an illusion?
you continue just playing your part. There's not much you can do.
You just have to play the game.
Well, you don't have a choice, because you realize that this whole thing is an image.
Yes.
And it's an image of God, of
Mhm.
the Creator. The Creator is expressing Beatrice with all its characteristics, individual characteristics, very unique to that particular body-mind mechanism. And then next to it, there's another expression. It's called Zarathustra.
Mhm.
And this one has all his own stuff too. And they all look they're different with different stories.
But how did
But
the game?
pardon?
How did we arrive at this point? How did it start it? How did the illusion start it?
That's a long story. But if you have unlimited power, infinite power right now, okay, Beatrice? Because the mind is hard for it to understand. But if I tell you, listen, would you like to open your wings and fly in the sky? I give you the power to do that. Would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. You would be stupid if you say no. That would be not you, I'm saying, but in general. So, yeah? So what if I say, okay, did you like that? Did you like flying in the sky? Did you have fun with it?
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how would you like now to be swimming in the ocean and be like a badass barracuda or a shark or a dolphin and experience what it's like being a dolphin? Would you like to do that?
Yeah, of course. But
Yes.
how
Yeah.
then you get lost in the game, kind of. You forgot you.
Well, but check this out. Then I'll tell you, Beatrice, you like those two things, didn't you? You say, yeah. I said, do you want to experience being a leopard or a lion? Do you want to just see what it's like chasing another animal at 60, 70 kilometers? Do you want to experience that too?
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. You're going to say yes to all of it.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you?
You
If
are.
you have the ability to be to experience, get a chance to experience all of it, why would you not?
Yeah, of course.
You know, and in the experiences, it's gonna be like, okay, Beatrice, I'm gonna give you an experience that you're a leopard and you're gonna be eating a rabbit. So you're gonna experience hunting and eating a rabbit. And you say, yes, okay, I want to do that. I'm the hunter. And then I'm gonna say, listen, now I'm gonna give you the experience. You're the rabbit and you get hunted, and now you get to experience what it's like to be eaten.
Yeah.
But the thing is, none of it goes anywhere. It's not like you're not going to die or you're not going to be born. You just get to experience that moment. Or I'm going to come and tell you, like, listen, I'm going to give you an opportunity to give birth to three twins in the same time. You want to try it? And you say, yes, I want to try that. And then I'm going to come and tell you, hey, I'm going to give you the experience to be the doctor who gives birth to a woman that's going to have a twins. So you get to experience that too.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is God, the infinite, discovered that, hey, I can be anything at any time. So why should I just limit myself in just being one thing when I can experience all of it simultaneously? Why should I limit myself?
Yes, but why is the suffering on earth, for example?
Yes. Well, who's experiencing the suffering?
Many people.
And who are these many people?
The not awakening people.
Yes, the people who are sleeping because they get lost in the game. They believe in what they are living.
Yeah, but who makes them fall asleep? Who decides on them to be asleep? Who
Yeah.
decides right now
You decide.
to turn this on?
God decides. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then when you fall asleep at night and you're not dreaming, okay, you sleep and you're not dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's off. Is there anyone suffering here? Is there
No.
anything going on?
Mm-hmm.
No, because the theater is closed.
Yes. Yeah. And it's
Okay.
10 in the morning.
But in the morning, yeah, we got a brand new story. What are they gonna be playing? Oh, it's gonna be year 2020, and there's gonna be a pandemic, and the world's gonna shut down. Oh wow, what a good movie! Let's watch it. So you just go back, and you're watching that movie, and then at the end of the movie ends, and you go back home and you sleep. Nothing happened. It was just a movie. Nobody died. Nobody got the pandemic. There were all actors in it pretending like the story was real.
Mm-hmm.
It was entertainment, but nothing happened.
So when you awake in this lifetime, where do you go after? Yeah.
Who cares?
Yes. You go nowhere. You go back to the source and you dissolve, kind of.
You you never been separated from the source. It's impossible. You are the source. Every movement you make, everything you think, every time you breathe is the source.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also a concept. It is a story going back to the source because there is nothing outside of the source. The source is the only thing there is.
Mm-hmm.
The rest are images,
Mm-hmm.
expressions of it, different expressions of it, because it's unlimited. Because it's unlimited, it can simultaneously have billions of expressions of itself.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. You have some good questions. Keep in mind that from the standpoint of view of the seeker,
Mm.
because the seeker viewing everything from duality.
Yeah.
When the illusion of it is removed, then those questions like, okay, what's going to happen to me after I die? That's important for the person who thinks is separated, has a separate entity and it's an individual entity. It's separated from everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens to me after I die? But
Yeah, there is
when
no.
when the illusion of separation is not there, that person doesn't even think about what's going to happen to me after I die, because there's no me there.
Yeah.
It becomes irrelevant.
Yeah. I get it. Thank you.
You're welcome. There's a lot of, otherwise it's easy to get lost into the whys. Why God created the world, why there's misery, why this has to happen, why it's not all angels and light and da 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 da. Why there's people are not equal, why some people have to go through this and some don't. These are all the questions of the mind coming. The mind is asking questions because they're all coming from the space of separation. Once that illusion of separation is not there, those questions, they all evaporate. They don't exist. They become irrelevant. They lose their relevance. Because then there is no others, there's no other stuff. It's all the function of the oneness. The oneness is doing whatever it does. It's just playing with itself, creating itself, dissolving itself, going into itself, hiding into itself. It's just constantly playing with itself to see itself. Because it's in original state, the oneness, which doesn't exist, because there's no such a thing as one. It's either nothing, there's nothing. Or there's 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to infinity. There's no such a thing as one. Because one against what? Okay, it's all one. It's a concept, it doesn't exist. This thing that we've learned in our spiritual practice from day first about oneness, it's just a concept. It's a story. It doesn't exist. It's like a fairy tale story. It's like Santa Claus. Because there's never been separation. This story of oneness, it's just a story. There is no such a thing as separation. Nothing is separated from anything. It's all one organic unity in either movement or in a state of rest. In its state of rest, is not aware of itself. Like when you sleep and you don't dream, what happens to you? Where does your body go? Where does your partner go? Where does your house, your debts, your issues, the problems with the country, where do they go? You sleep, you're not dreaming. Everything disappears. And then when you wake up, the first thought comes, it's an I thought. I am Zarathustra, I'm a man, I'm Persian, I'm American, I live in Mexico, and then the whole story comes back. The stream, the data, the whole data that went to sleep comes back into manifestation. But when I was sleeping and not dreaming, there was nothing. There's no story because there's nobody there. There's nobody there witnessing the story because oneness means nothingness. There's nothing there. So nothing is not aware of anything because there is nothing. So everything just becomes null and disappears, and then again it reappears. It disappears, it reappears. And in that, there is like a narrative that there is a world, and this world is evolving and it's changing, and that is a narrative to it. But in the absolute reality, nothing has happened. There was never a world, and there was never a story, and there was never anyone witnessing it or not witnessing it. Are you guys there, or are we still online?
Yes, we are online and very impressed, me especially. And I again come to this point that I'm a bit ratlos. What is without?
Speak a little louder, please.
I am without idea. It feels a bit like thinking about borders of the universe.
Perplexed. You're a bit perplexed.
I'm listening to you.
Oder clueless.
And that's a feeling I had as a teenager when I tried to think about the universe and the border of the universe and what comes behind. It's not. I can't impress it. I can't impress it.
Yeah, it's a thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's an illusion.
Yeah, it's an illusion. Yes, and
Yeah,
suddenly all is an illusion.
yeah, it is. It is a thought arises, and it's cool. You know, it's fine. A thought arises, like, okay, the borders of universe, and yeah, that's why in this teaching we emphasize so much into silence.
Yeah.
Silence in a way that the mind goes into, we go beyond the mind. And then now there's no story. And then there's not an explanation happens into that, which is impossible to explain. Understandings takes place, but they're not three-dimensional understandings. The three-dimensional understandings are thoughts or feelings.
Yep.
So that's why Ramana Maharshi, Papaji, Nisargadatta, Wayne Lickerman, Robert Adams, Ramesh, a lot of these big-time Advaita Vedanta teachers in the past 80, 90 years, they all talked about just be quiet, be silent. All right. Well, it's nice seeing you all.
Thank you very much.
Nice having you all here. Hopefully we'll have our next academy next week. So can I call you tomorrow about our plans in Germany? Is that okay if I call you tomorrow?
Absolutely,
Absolutely, yes.
absolutely. You need more force. It's important. We wait. It's okay. If you will come, or if God will that you will come, then everything will be fine.
Yeah, no, my intention is to come. I just wanted to talk to you about the title of the workshop, but right now I'm flat. I'm just like kind of a little bit dizzy.
Yes.
So so I want to have a little bit energy.
It's okay. It's
Okay.
absolutely okay. And you know, Anita is the translator.
Okay, great.
It's her gift. She's participant and she's also the translator, and it's her gift to you.
That's kind of her.
Yes. So
she's
step by step, it will be a circle, a function circle full of love, and I think it's fine. You must become absolutely healthy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
the importance.
yeah. You know, it's been interesting. It's interesting, you know. The mind wants to go here and wants to go there and do a lot of stuff, and the body says no. And it's been, in some ways, it's been interesting because I've been spending a lot of time alone by myself. A lot of time not having any energy to do anything, just lie around and, you know, watch some teachers, see what other people talk about, whether it's in the spiritual realm or it's other stuff that I'm interested in. So in a way, it's been fun, just not doing anything, not having energy to do anything, and just letting yourself be lazy and lie around. And sometimes, yeah, it's frustrating because you want to fall asleep, you don't sleep, or you sleep, you get up, you have no energy to move. Part of you is like, damn, I want to get up and move and exercise and go out and be normal, but the body doesn't follow. So that's, I think, very little price to pay for me. That's most of my life had a healthy body, and now I get a little bit taste of what it's like to be disabled, and it's okay.
You know, we don't get younger, we get older with every breath we do. So I think it's difficult to look in this eyes of getting old. Yes, it's not easy for us, also not. But one thing I want you to know: the room is paid. Yes, nothing can get a big problem if you feel good, if you have the call to come. it could be, it will be. And if you said, no, everything is fine, don't feel stressed, then I cancel it. Nothing happened. Everything is fine. Stay in calm and relax and get health.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice seeing you all. Looking forward to communicating, and we'll talk soon. Send you all my love.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.